Let there be peace and love. Welcome to Satsang. Satsang, the company of oneself, the company of what's real. Or in other words, to realize that we are never away from one real self. So that cannot be apprehended. It cannot be comprehended, prehended. It cannot be caught, grasped by any means. Let it be the senses, let it be by the senses, let it be by conceptualizing, let it be by feelings. All what can be grasped are expressions of what is ever untouchable, and that one is. So, you can imagine that the best language is to just keep quiet, silence. For some reason, when it doesn't take that shape, it looks like it's all the time expressed. There is no end of overflow of words, even though they never say anything about it. They just come from there and they disappear there. If one can see that, if one realizes that it is simply like that, it means the mind keeps quiet, the mind surrenders about the subject. And the subject which brought a search or a finding itself disappears as reality. It may still appear and disappear as anything else, but as reality, that disappears, that concept, that belief, that I is what I am, that the sense of I is what I am, that disappears. That's called freedom. So if the mind surrenders, let us not stir it up, it will not even like it. If there is still a movement of mind which looks like giving some separation, a knowing, or giving some idea that we don't fit all the time to it, then I suggest, and satsang is a very good space for it, that one sees it, simply sees it, and sometimes it's easier to see when you express. So, please, it is your dedication to come to satsang. It must be that it's very important simply because you know what it is and you still love to sit. Or there is some doubt or something which drives you here. So make a point to fulfill that, to be freed from a belief that any movement of the mind which carries you can help you. The mind cannot enter here. This is surrender. The mind can never bring liberation. The mind is an expression, the body too, everything what one can know is an expression. Don't confuse expressions for what you are. That's all. If you don't understand what I say, if I am not clear enough, please ask. Satsang is created like that. Otherwise, we just sit quiet like I imagine a few sages in the caves. Making no efforts to be, because you always are what you are. Only the mind troubles. That you may know. So decide that at least an incarnation that you have this life, you free yourself from the tyranny of the mind, and I include in the mind tyranny of believing that the mind is real, that the feelings are real, and that the body is real. It is experienced. You are not an experience, and you are not even the experiencer as reality. It appears so. If you want me to dig a theme or something, tell me. Otherwise, I'm quite well like that too. I just wish that if you come with something, you don't go back with that something. Decide to free yourself. It's our birthright, and it is available right now. So why to suffer? And since I find myself in Devaloka, I think your company and this land is Devaloka on earth. I didn't know it was existing concretely, but I see that. Even the Devas, do you know, even the Devas have to be freed. They have to go to a teacher to tell them that even that is part of the big hallucination. It is an expression of what you are. So, but it's very interesting because, and maybe because here the devas are happy, they have found happiness in some way. But I want to make sure that I'm not going to trouble happiness is the most beautiful gift in the life. But do you know, and probably you know, that happiness comes when, not because you fulfill the object of your desire, but it's because the mind stops. There is no mind then. That's why one is happy. And if you don't know that trick, you may run after the same object to be again happy. Because objects have this nature of appearing and disappearing. So one has to run after them. So it's when one doesn't think. And that's why the sages say, don't think. To realize yourself, don't think. Don't go into any movement of the mind just for a split second in order to see that you are not a movement of the mind. You are free with your own self, by your own self. Very simple recipe. But one has to love it. One has to like it. Because somehow it awakens to the essentiality, how one has to make the priority in order to only love what is uncatchable, and all the rest is given by nature. Given to die also. Whatever is given is never everlasting. I'm not a very good storyteller, not at all. So if you want to hear more, again I repeat, you have to provoke me. You can be gentle, huh? Or not. Yeah.
I have a question.
Andrew?
Yes, good memory. So we have these devices and iPhones in this day and age now, right, that create a sense of disconnection. We're on our phones, and my question is, I feel something different when I'm on my device. I can feel present, yet it's like all the dopamine being released as I'm checking Facebook, and it's not that my mind feels active as much as it is I'm noticing like the dopamine kind of addiction or response I'm getting and how good that feels. Or it could be caffeine or sugar or anything like that. But I think particularly with this generation, it's these devices that we have that create a form of disconnection that it's like it's a nuance of just an active mind. It's something slightly different. I'd love to hear what you...
I'm not much of this generation, so I don't know if I can be fit to answer you about that. But what I see is that the mind is occupied anyway, you see. Now maybe it's very active because in time we live a time of speed. Everything is speedy. So speed means you swallow more information. So the mind is very much fed in a quicker way, but it has always been fed if you are not aware that all that is the movements of the mind. So anyway, I think that we are in this period of time, or in ancient times, it will always be the same indication. If you see that the priority of your life is to be at peace, whatever you do, whatever period of time you are in, you have to demystify what is the mind. And especially the owner of the mind. Otherwise it's like cutting branches of a big tree, but you never reach the roots. You die before that. It's such a work. Infinite work. Some even go cutting the leaves, imagine. So the sages, they show you, is there any root at all? Is there any tree at all as reality? It appears so. Don't be deluded by appearance. You are not what appears. And what appears this way or that way, who cares? That it is slow or speedy, who cares? That you are more nourished or not, who cares? But don't confuse yourself with the mind. So, the wisdom, the indication of those who freed themselves from the mind's tyranny, is ageless. You see, it can cross the time. Because whatever appears is called mind. You can call it in a different way, but it's always a movement. Coming from where? Going back where? Or simply played upon what? That's the question. So in between, you can always ask, who is playing? And then you see yourself, if you put that question, do you go more into the object of your scene or informations? Where do you go if you ask that? The direction is completely different. Just a split second, and you will see how that power, natural power, works. You see, you will be contagious suddenly. You will work even better, maybe, but you will know the source of things. It makes sense to you?
Yeah, that was right on the money. Yeah, that's it. It's what's the voice in that moment? Is it the mind that's wanting to play and be fed, or not? And that's really good.
And you are young. You are whatever your body mind does. You see, but you don't need to confuse yourself. Let him do things. Why not? According to each one's tendencies or circumstances. That we will not touch. But you do as you like. Yes?
I felt quite pulled to be here and to come tonight.
Yes. Welcome.
What? Thank you. And at the same time, I had much pain in the head starting. And now I'm here, and I'm in this circle of an old circle of right and wrong.
Yeah.
Did I make a right move?
Yeah.
Or did I make a wrong move? Be better?
It is very wrong, probably, to go in the mind.
Say it again.
Very wrong to go in the mind. No. You see, when the mind starts to be more agitated, it means that there is some resistance or some contradictory beliefs which cannot have a grasp, but you want to hold them still. So it will not make you happy. It will make you happy, peaceful.
No, but I don't know if I know how to do anything else.
Ah, okay. But then try to hear. You see, you got the habit to grasp all the time, or even to believe that all what the mind presents is real. That's why it becomes right and wrong. You see, for this world, of course, it has some sense. But satsang speaks and indicates from where this mind comes from where the mind, it is whose mind? Whose mind? Tell me.
Not mine.
Who says so? Who says so? Not me. Who says so?
Me.
Better. Tell it better. Me, there is already an objectification. I prefer you speak up the subject. What is called that subject? I think so. I don't think so. Can you express, can you comprehend or prehend or grasp or ungrasp, sorry. Anything without I. Tell me now. You're sure? You're sure? Be sure. Tell me an example where you doubt about it. Then we will see. Because you see, if you don't have an example, then you believe the wavering of your mind. You believe it's real. And then you are always disturbed because the mind is meant to go on changing. It is meant, its nature. It goes on changing. So if you think that the mind is real, first of all, you think that your mind is real and your body because you think I is real. That is absolutely unquestionable from everywhere, except in satsang. Mm-hmm. So, do you like to take the risk to question this I that you think you are? It's only a thought, huh? It's only a thought. What happens when that thought is not there? Just for now. Okay. Keep right there. And whenever that thought comes, because it will appear again, you know it's just a thought. You know it's just an appearance full of experiences and whatnot, but still it's a manifestation, it's an appearance. I am not what appears. At least It is directed that way when one is not yet quite in oneself. Otherwise, everything is oneself. But this one cannot swallow. The mind cannot swallow it. So first realize, and for that, I am not this, I'm not that, because you have been too much in habit to accept, to swallow. I am this body, I am what I experience, I am the experiencer. You see? Satsang dares to question that looking like base, a platform.
Looking like
a platform, a base. Yes. And the source of happiness, or simply cannot express what it is, but it must be there is no misreading there, is to realize yourself. And from there, it's not up to you to appear this way or that way. Who cares? That will be done by itself. If you have to do something special in the world, it will be done by itself. If you have to be unknown, it will be done by itself. Who cares? You understand? Satsang is not a recipe for life. It removes the limitation one puts that is only the life.
it removes the limitations that one puts on life.
I mean, that one thinks is this incarnation, so this life. But for that, one has to want it, you see. You have to want to go there. Because nobody can force you and will never force you. It has to come from a deep sense of whatever, we never know. Generally, it is expressed as a constant unsatisfaction, whatever happens to you, even when it's beautiful somehow, or separation, or whatever expression is there, is when someone has not yet seen that he is not what appears. Yeah, you can tell me because I don't have a global. Hi.
Hi. My name is Amitabh. Yeah. It's a question about collective consciousness. Shared. If there's no base reality, everything is just subjective. So I understand that you're saying that there's no objective reality. So in that sense,
for the body and mind, there is an objective reality. For the body, there is an objective reality. Yeah.
But in the experiences that we have, do we share them, or are they?
You see, it's not a choice. I think it's not a choice. As I said, the expression of this vehicle, you don't know in which direction it will be. Some will be looking like anybody else. Some may do something remarkable, some may look, but it doesn't come from somebody then. It's not a choice.
Yeah.
It is done without intention. There is nobody there to want or to prefer this way or that way. Yeah. Otherwise, you see, it will be somebody's attainment. Some are vast attainments, some are small attainments. And it's also very good for the world, why not? If it is positive, at least. But I would say it has nothing to do with reality. Because reality already expresses fully itself just now.
So
there is no progress, you see, it expresses as it likes just now. It is not anybody's choice.
So it would exist without consciousness, without the us as observers, it would still exist.
I cannot answer the question. It exists by itself. It exists without the belief I am somebody. All that is already there.
So subjective is just the mind, right? Is that what you're saying? It's the mind that's in the illusion, but the reality is as it is.
It's more the one who has a mind. You see, if my sense of I, for example, if I feel I'm somebody and you have really strong references like I am born, I mean it's a big one, I am born. Who dares to say, like the sages, you aren't born? Oh, what they mean? They are not foolish people. They are wise. So what do they mean? And that's the object of self-inquiry. So one comes to the point, whatever is seen, I'm not. It's meant by I'm not this, I'm not that. Neti in the scriptures, you see. Whatever you experience, I'm not. And if you do this self-inquiry, since we go into that direction, you come to a point where you see that, okay, you point out to what happens, but you never question to whom those things happen. Who says I'm not this and I'm not that? Then comes the real self-inquiry. You see? So I think your answer will be when you will ask that question yourself, to yourself. You will have more answers to this manifestation than what I can do. Because if I tell you something, you have to trust me. If that trust is not there, you will go on asking somewhere else where you trust more and more. But there is always a beyond, you see, in the mind.
I would have to trust, because intellectually I can't take it, because I'm not the mind, right? So I will have to just trust.
Yeah, but the trust, you have to trust the indication, so that you have to go yourself. I cannot do it for you. You have to ask who is asking this burning question, this important question. Can you ask it now?
I'm trying to translate your answer, I guess, into my...
No, I would like you to trust the indication. So it's quite a burning question, and something, the subject is important for you. Yeah. So who is asking? Who is burning with that question? Who is asking this question? You ask now. I want to see you asking yourself. Who is asking? Where do you go when you ask this question?
Do you want me to answer?
Not necessarily with words. Otherwise, it's your mind. Again, I want to see the direction where you go when you ask this question.
I do have a hunch, as in
I do
have a hunch, as in
hunch,
a feeling about what may be triggering.
No, but don't stop at a feeling, because who has a feeling then?
Yeah.
Don't delay. You see, these are delays of the mind. Yeah, he will invent everything to avoid that very simple, most efficient direction. You have to do it. Okay, whenever you like.
Yeah, I'd probably disappear if I do that.
No, why? Why? If you say those things, again, they are concepts.
Yeah.
As I said, the mind cannot comprehend it. So, and your concepts will stop you.
Yeah,
So why do you
still
go
fighting, I just still resisting. That's why I understand.
But then you start to understand how the mind likes to always be the master, the tyrant, by suggesting, by presenting himself, when actually you can be freed from. Not from the appearance, that doesn't matter, but from the imposition, the tyranny, as I say. A bit clearer?
Yes, a bit less muddy. That's for sure.
Then love that direction. It needs your love to go there. Your burn. You have to feel it is my priority. It is essential to solve that. Because you see, a guide appears when you have a demand. That demand will bring you a guide. But the guide cannot do the work for you. It can just indicate what's already there. That is the fun of it. You see. But we are so used to use the mind that it looks like a tremendous something, a tremendous journey. It's just our habits, our beliefs, past beliefs even. They have an impact, can be, for a while, can be very strong. But then once you have seen, a split second, you demystify, you know habits. Then you see you are nearly caught. Habits. Nothing else than habits. Yeah.
Nectar. A habit. This nectar is so, yeah. But I see the habit, but the movement is habit, back. Is this then just to keep seeing and to keep coming back to, because it seems so simple, really.
So what?
Simple.
Simple, yeah.
Is that, but the habit is very strong, and
that's why.
And it pulls. And I didn't realize how strong. And it's like, I feel it's all the grace that life keeps bringing, everything to see the remnants of tendencies that are left. And the movement back into the tendency is so heightened.
But you are not that. You are not it. Whatever you see, you are not.
So is
So keep quiet from where they appear. It's not about time. Just dedicate. How can I say this? Like that, you see. Dedicate that whenever during the day. Because you have already what you search. You have already, there is nothing else after all. But one is fascinated by movements. You see, you tell yourself that fascination. Doesn't matter, you see it. But love more for a while, make that tremendous urge not to confuse yourself with what moves. But that urge has to be there, because nobody else will do it for you. It is your urge. You see this word liberation. It comes from this urge that nobody can express, but then the language put it like that. Liberated from beliefs, liberated from whatever one thinks about oneself, about life, about oneself, and so on. So, some are inhibited by this urge to realize that it can be realized. It's already there. Everybody is realized, in fact. The moment you don't listen to your mind, so what's the difference between somebody who indicates or somebody who wants to listen, is that one believes his mind and the other not. That's all. But all is there already. And surely there is a period of time, once you get quiet in yourself, can be a split second, it's called sometimes like a glimpse or whatever. Don't underestimate the force of habits. That's why for a period of time, it's very important to give most importance and devotion and what not to that you are. And then this also disappears. Because you see, when you come to the source of things, you know what it means. The source of things is where everything, the source of energy, the source of imagination, the source of incredible manifestation and creation. So, it's an indication. There is no source at all otherwise. But you have to, since you ride the movement, you have to go back from where it comes. That's all.
How can you be awake in that moment when you say that you're not this, your thoughts. I feel I'm asleep all day, and I can.
Yeah.
And what I can see is like I'm not awake. I don't have the consciousness to see when I'm sleeping. Thinking.
Maybe you have an idea of what you have to be. It's already here, what you are, but it never manifests itself. It manifests like this. But don't confuse yourself for a detail of this manifestation.
How can you see that?
By being yourself, without grasping, oh, I'm this, oh, this is true, oh, I believe this. Oh, I experience this, this is real. Because you see, whatever you take for real feeds the reality of this I, who produces all that. I is the root cause. I is the root cause of this manifestation, is the source. That's why you see Papaji, my master, Ramana, this lineage, they I would have said they attack, but they touch the root cause. They don't lose their time in trying to fix this or that, or even to detach yourself from this and that, because this is an infinite work that we have done for ages. If you like self-inquiry, it means you have done it for ages, and you know that's a very long process. So suddenly you awake that, oh, if I just follow the self-inquiry, or who is feeling that, or who believes that, or who experiences that, if you go there, because it's an indication, you are freed from the evolution, from incarnations. While alive, or while dying, who cares? But you don't need more information. This is it. And don't make an image of what it will be, or of what you have to fit. Because you see, I see in spirituality, one enslaves often oneself. He removes many concepts, but one often enslaves himself to a spiritual concept of what it has to be, or how it has to appear. It is as fake as everything else. Know it. Free yourself from this tyranny of the mind, who will, I tell you, endlessly presents you better and more subtle and more deep if you stop there instead of disappearing with the question which questions the root cause. This is essential, is the only thing to do. Now, to arrive there, one has done a lot. But if you suddenly awake to that, you will not lose your time to do something else. You will love it. You will run to it, for it. That's what I wish. If I'm not clear, ask, you see. Ask, it's your birthright. My master said, it's your birthright. In satsang, one has the birthright to finally solve this thing that mind presents.
I can ask another one.
Please.
When you say 1990, so I'm not based and I'm not
Yeah.
that, and we're gradually
Yeah.
letting go of connecting to body and mind and whatever I-ness, then
To beliefs, yeah.
I guess I can't ask what's in the end, but at least...
Yeah, you can ask if you have done it. Tell me where you arrived.
So far, no, I'm still on this endless. But,
I cannot tell you what is in our back.
I'm really interested in whether at some point we are experiencing collective consciousness, whether we are one.
But you see, you have already this cherished concept of collective consciousness. So you are enslaved to serve that.
Yeah, that's a cat theory, so I just really like that. And,
Okay, then I will not trouble your liking. It's your liking, it's not mine. I leave you with that and be successful with that. But I want to tell you, do you see that you enslave yourself to a concept? That how it has to be or manifest itself.
yes, certainly.
Okay.
I think
Okay.
more than anything, just helps to let go of some fears, like fear of death, just maybe sort of
That's
things
more interesting. That is better.
Yeah, well, that's the best one I've got so far.
let's see that one. I prefer, because fear of death. That's why one searches. You see that absurdity that one thinks is born brings to death. It's an absurdity.
Yeah.
If you start to think. That's why you have fear. Fear of disappearance. Fear of whatever it brings in you. That's why you have first to ask. Am I born? Am I born? And if you say yes, do you say yes?
I hope not to.
No, you say yes, otherwise you would not take care of your death.
Yeah.
So it must be that you believe you are born, which is in the world quite healthy in the mind.
Same.
Huh?
Same.
Sane, yeah. It's quite sane, but it's insane for the sages. Because when you say I am born, you refer to what?
My manifestation of whatever the projections of my life.
Well, you refer to the body. The body, no?
Starts with that.
Yeah, it starts like this. You believe you have that body. That incarnation comes with that belief, I am this body. I'm born. So if you can hear suddenly, in reality, that body is yours, okay. We are not insane. But in reality, what you really are is unborn, will ever be unborn. That is meant by realization of the self. That is the direction of the sages. They don't show something else. They just remind you, don't confuse yourself with the one who is born. So, if you don't go, if you see that it is a belief, a concept of yours, you will not even go to fear of death if you are unborn. Where is death? First solve, am I born at all? First solve that one. Yeah? You do it?
I'll try.
Yeah, great. Welcome to Satsang. So I just want to tell you today that to show you that don't search following a concept. Don't search what is happiness, what is truth, what is God, who am I? Don't go for that search because you already are what you search. So in that way, you are always, in reality, you are always prior to what your mind will tell you. Just know that. And there lies happiness and peace. And all the rest is a play of life, is a manifestation of that. So just dedicate a split second here and there to keep quiet. And when you keep quiet, you are yourself. So close your eyes. Don't try to understand and try to catch it. Leave it as it is. Nyam nyam, prasad. What's your name? Big one. What does it mean? Oh! Double prosperity. Is there any child somewhere? Yes, it's only a minute. Whose child is it? Yeah, he's more clever than you. Be happy
Yeah,
for that.
yeah, very.
Okay. What?
I have such strong resistance and judgment. The resistance is to stillness, and the judgment is I see people go to India or Tiru or Vipassana and get into stillness, but then I see them just as troubled. I don't see patterns changing. And so my resistance to stillness is, does that just keep me in the same state? Does it undo the things that cause my suffering and my attachments and my aversions or things like this? So I can feel a very strong resistance to stillness.
Then keep that one if you like. Very
I just like there's just like a situation which like a sort of a breaking in my heart occurs.
Let it go, let it go. You see how if you keep anything, it makes suffer at some point. Let go. Let go. You free yourself. Go that way. Instead of fighting with keeping. You can't keep this universe. It's not yours. Let go. And then let go. Not to keep it when you go from here. Let go. That direction.
Yeah, I can feel that it's quite a strong pull.
Who cares? Let go. If you are so attached to experiences, you will describe indefinitely better and better and worse and worse. Let go. We pass our lives in describing this beautiful and cherished body and mind, which makes one suffer. Let go.
How do you let go? How do you let go? You say let go. What is that?
Why do you like this question? Don't go into that question. That's like good. There's nothing there. One is enslaved to his mind. You see, you were quiet. I tell you, you were quiet not even a minute ago. I've seen it. Let go? You're not quiet now, and you will not get an answer, except this one. Let it go, that thought. The mind will not solve you, will not bring you to peace. So what do you prefer? That I will not touch. But if you want, if you dare to say, I want to be real, I want peace, whatever it means, then you have to have those guts. Because the world tells differently. You see, the world tells differently. Good? Taken. Body.
But sometimes it seems that it's more easy to be good than not good. Sometimes
You mean yourself?
Sometimes it's easier to get caught into the mind. Yeah, I had a terrible experience a few months ago where I was really identifying with this mind. And it was very hard to really come really back into the stuff.
But Grace, you met your guru, then he brings you back. Come, my dear child, not that direction.
Yeah, well, it took him some time, you know.
Doesn't matter. Here you are.
That's right, that's what I said.
And next time you learn better your lesson. It's important. It's urgent because this body is going to die soon. So urgent. Okay? Great. You like to stand?
Yeah, got a bad back, so
Ah.
it's good.
You want to tell something? No.
Is
If I'm really in pain and
A little louder. I become a bit old, you know.
oh yes, and there's so much pain in the body.
Yeah.
Somehow there's no.
This is old age.
Yeah. Not all the time, of course, but just in some, let's say, sometimes.
Yeah.
And then there's no room to make this inquiry.
No, that's why it's urgent to do it when you are well.
But then, if you're in a lot of pain and you die and you didn't make the inquiry,
Don't worry. Don't worry. The self is love itself. Will not forget you. But you have to love it before. And it may not happen as you think. So don't go there. Okay?
Yeah.
First time?
Yes.
It's Chinese or a little bit?
No.
No. Good. What do you want?
What I want?
Yes.
I just observe.
Okay. You want to be an observer?
Yes,
Not
at the moment.
All your life? No.
No, at the moment.
At the moment. Good, wise. Yeah. You observe to see if it is what you like.
I do like, but it's just different.
Huh?
Different.
Different, yeah. What is making differences, you think?
Point of view.
Yeah, right. Very good. So the peace will not be in keeping an opinion. Let it be the greatest and the most sublime one. The peace is when you realize that opinions comes from who you are and disappear where you are. So
Let it be.
let it be as they appear. You are not that. You are not an opinion. Yeah? The world fights for opinions. Let there be economical, emotional, religious, spiritual. Let's not go there. Bas? Thank you very much.
Thank you.